Customer support, call center workforce in US, India, and Philippines. April-May 2026. The global call center and BPO, business process outsourcing industries, employ millions of customer support agents who handle inquiries by phone and chat. AI chatbots and voice bots, computer programs that answer customer questions by text or speech, are increasingly handling routine calls. This raises concerns about job losses. To understand the impact, we look at recent employment data and reports for April-May 2026. We compare the US, India, and the Philippines using government labor statistics and industry sources, and we separate the effects of AI from other factors, like exchange rates and labor cost differences. We also profile some call centers that use both AI and human agents, noting how key metrics such as CSAT, customer satisfaction score, and AHT, average handle time, have changed. Industry employment by country. United States. U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data show there were about 2.8 million customer service representative jobs in the U.S. in 2024. These include call center agents across industries. The BLS projects this category will decline 5% by 2034, about 153,700 jobs, largely due to automation and outsourcing. Not all U.S. call center jobs are in BPO firms. Many are in banks, telecoms, retailers, etc. Note a recent AP News article described roughly 3 million Americans working in call centers. India. India's IT BPM, IT and business process management sector, is a major employer. Industry sources estimate 5.4 million people directly work in IT BPM in FY 2024. Of these, about 1.2 to 1.5 million are in BPO IT-enabled services. This includes call centers, voice support, and non-voice back-office services. The sector continues growing. India's tech exports totaled $254 billion in FY 2024. India leads globally, especially in technical and knowledge services, finance, analytics, R&D, while the U.S. research found India also has a wage and English language advantage. Philippines. The Philippines is known as a global call center hub. Industry Association IBPAP and media reports say about 1.5 million Filipinos work in call center, voice jobs. Including other BPO work, KPO, IT support, etc., the total BPO workforce is about 2.0 million. The sector is roughly 8% of GDP and was growing 4 to 5% in 2025. Companies from the U.S. outsource a large share of their customer service work here. Over 70% of Philippine BPO revenue comes from the U.S. market. Table. Feed country. Call center, CSR jobs approximate. Median wage, hourly, local currency versus USD. SN, W. United States, Bank W. WWWW, W. 2.8 million CSRs in 2024. WWW, $20. 59 per hour, median, and TD 1 USD equals 1 USD. TR, India. 1.2 to 1.5 million IT BPM BPO workers, HTD. 1.2 to 1.5 million entry level, let's see note. 1 USD equals 83 rupees, mid-2026 approximate. 1 USD equals 85 million voice call center agents. 1 USD equals 3 to 4 hour, entry level, let's see note. 1 USD equals 55 pesos, mid-2026 approximate. TR. Note, hourly wages are approximate. BLS reports the U.S. median CSR wage, $20.59 per hour. In India, Philippines, entry call center salaries are much lower, typically a few dollars per hour. Industry data suggest Indian BPO staff earn roughly $4 to $6 per hour on average, and Philippine agents $3 to $4 per hour. Let's see note. These wide wage gaps, often 5 to 8 times, drive outsourcing decisions as much as technology. For example, a report notes U.S. firms pay about €1,300, $1,400 per month for a Filipino agent, while the agent earns only €250 to €300. Let's see note. This means outsourcing can save 55 to 70% of payroll cost. Currency moves, dollar versus peso or rupee, similarly shift effective costs. For context, in mid-2026, the rupee was around 83 rupees per USD, the peso 55 pesos per USD. April-May 2026 job trends and AI effects. Precise month-by-month national labor data for April-May 2026 are not yet published publicly. However, business press and industry surveys offer clues about AI-driven job changes during this period. USA. No official BLS report isolates April-May 2026 call center losses, but anecdotal evidence suggests only modest cuts. The U.S. tech industry did shed many jobs in Q1 2026, 78,557 layoffs in Jan-Mar, nearly half attributed to AI and automation. Let's see note. This was mostly in software and hardware firms. Customer service bureaus report integrating AI assistants, e.g. live agents using AI tools. Major U.S. banks and retailers say chatbots now handle routine requests, but humans are still needed for complex issues. Let's see note. For example, a 2025 survey found many chatbots are still failing to resolve cases, and companies roll back AI usage if CSAT suffers. Let's see note. In fact, no large U.S. contact center chain announced sweeping layoffs in spring 2026. Instead, companies like Cognizant and others say they are retraining staff to use AI tools. Lawmakers have even proposed incentives to keep call centers onshore. Let's see note. In sum, by May 2026, the U.S. call center workforce was largely stable, with AI taking over only some tasks. India. The Indian outsourcing industry saw continued growth in overall revenue, slow down to 3.8% growth in FY 2024, let's see note, and tech firms did some layoffs, but these were mainly in legacy IT services. Not necessarily voice BPO. Major Indian BPO companies, e.g. Wipro, TCS, Cognizant India, have not publicly announced mass furloughs of call center staff. Instead, they pilot AI tools for analysis and support. Industry body Masscom forecasts the IT BPO sector will add revenue and jobs gradually. Anecdotally, some entry-level positions, high school diploma jobs, are under pressure, but many workers are shifting to higher-skilled roles, monitoring bots, data analysis, etc. Without detailed PLFS bulletins for April-May 2026, we rely on broad trends. Jobs in India's BPO sector likely grew modestly, or at least did not plunge, during those months. Philippines. The call center sector remained busy in early 2026. IBPAP reports that in 2025 revenues and employment both rose 90 to 45%, as new contracts started and inflation-adjusted outsourcing costs stayed attractive. Through May 2026, there were no public announcements of major Philippine BPO layoffs. In fact, unions expressed concern about future AI displacement. A fired call center union leader warns that as AI evaluates key indicators like tone of voice and handles more tasks, headcount will shrink. However, IBPAP executives emphasize that AI could raise productivity and prices without reducing staff if managed well. In summary, April-May 2026 saw relatively few automatic job cuts purely due to chatbots/voicebots. Most large call centers continue hybrid operations. Any layoffs reported in that period, e.g. small tech firm cuts, were often attributed to automation but also reflected normal business cycles. For example, financial firm Klarna famously cut 700 chatbotable support jobs in 2024 from 3,000 agents, but then rehired some for complex cases. By mid-2026, industry analysts and executives mostly framed AI as a productivity tool rather than as an immediate job killer. As one AI researcher notes, many layoffs can also be blamed on factors like overhiring or cost-cutting, and only part on genuine AI productivity gains. AI versus wage arbitrage and currency. It is important to disentangle AI-based cuts from outsourcing and currency effects. Even after AI, the wage arbitrage advantage remains huge. As noted, a U.S. company saves roughly 50 to 70% by shifting a call to India or the Philippines rather than using a U.S. agent. A strong U.S. dollar makes those savings even larger. For example, if the peso falls against the dollar, dialing overseas becomes cheaper automatically, with no AI involved. Conversely, if local wages rise, companies might more eagerly seek AI. Concretely, a U.S. bank's payroll cost for an entry customer service team is orders of magnitude higher at home than abroad. A recent news report cites an example. A Filipino rep earning only $250 to $300 a month, approximately $270 to $330, is billed to clients at about €1,300, $1,400. Agent doing the same job would cost roughly $2,500. Currency moves change these numbers daily. In early 2026, 83 per USD versus 75p per USD made India approximately 10% cheaper, enhancing outsourcing. Similarly, 55p per USD versus 50p per earlier. In short, most of the immediate labor cost gap owes to pay rates and exchange rates rather than AI. Industry experts caution that some of the AI-caused layoffs reported may just reflect reconfiguring the offshore-onshore mix. For example, a tech industry leader said companies often blame AI when they downsize, even if poor performance or market weakness were the real reasons. Thus, we must look carefully. If a U.S. firm cuts 100 jobs but simultaneously renews a contract with an Indian BPO for 200 seats, that is currency wage arbitrage, not AI. Hybrid AI human models and quality metrics. Many firms have moved to hybrid support centers. AI handles simple tasks while humans handle complex issues. Several public examples illustrate how performance metrics changed. AI plus human help. Bank of America's Erica chatbot has handled billions of queries since 2018, but it still hands the call to a human if it cannot solve the issue. Salesforce's new Agentforce contact center, launched March 2026, shows an example. In trials, simple calls like rebooking a flight were handled 40 to 60% by a voice AI agent, then smoothly transferred to a human when needed. The platform also equips human agents with AI suggestions as they speak. For example, it shows previous chat context and possible answers in real time. Clients report that this approach improves service. It speeds up transfers and lets reps focus on service rather than routine data entry. Effects on CSAT and AHT. Use of AI has demonstrably improved some call center metrics. For instance, a published case study at a large U.S. fintech company showed CSAT rise to around 80% after deploying an AI-powered multilingual chat system. Another case with an AI coach, a tool that analyzes live calls and prompts agents, found average handling time fell by around 8%, about 43 seconds shorter per call, while customer experience scores edged up. This coaching AI gave agents feedback on customer sentiment and conversation flow in real time, helping them respond more effectively. In general, early data suggests that a well-implemented AI can shorten AHT by 5 to 10% without hurting satisfaction. Unilever's Virgin Money, UK bank, found that after adding AI to simple queries, customers still preferred human agents for complex cases. And overall CSAT remained high. Quality must be monitored. As one IT Pro analysis warns, poorly deployed chatbots can frustrate people. Surveys show customers often distrust AI service. 68% said they lack confidence in generative AI for support, and 50% said AI-only interactions rarely solve their issue. The lesson is to blend AI and humans intelligently. For example, one report noted that AI can now enable 100% QA coverage of calls versus 1 to 3% that humans normally audit. This can catch service problems early. However, organizations must set up clear escalation paths. The British Standards Institute advises companies to plan which interactions go to AI and which go to people, so customers never feel stuck in a loop. Conclusion and recommendations. In April-May 2026, call centers worldwide were adapting to AI, but the labor fallout has been measured. U.S., Indian, and Filipino customer service headcounts did not plunge overnight. Instead, firms mostly report reassigning or upgrading roles. Humans handle complex calls and supervise AI, while chatbots take routine questions. Industry forecasts, BLS projecting -5% over 10 years, suggest a gradual decline in CSR jobs, but still millions of openings will exist for trained agents. Through this period, macro factors like wages and exchange rates have been as important as AI. Companies still choose manpower offshore where it is far cheaper. For example, if the dollar strengthens, some jobs may shift overseas or vie with automation, simply because of cost. Conversely, if local wages rise or currency shifts lessen savings, firms might turn more to AI. Data from major BPO providers suggest that cost-cutting and efficiency drives influence staffing decisions alongside technology choices. Actionable advice. Organizations should measure the real impact of AI pilots carefully, track CSAT and AHT before and after deploying chatbots. If customer satisfaction falls, as many studies warn it can, retrain or scale back the bot. Offer an easy option for customers to request a human agent. Laws like the proposed Keep Call Centers in America Act are moving in this direction. Provide call center employees with digital tools and training. As Cognizant's AI chief observed, companies may need to retrain or reassign workers rather than lay them off. Invest in AI literacy for staff, so agents know how to work with AI suggestions. For workers, focus on developing soft skills, empathy, and complex problem solving that AI cannot handle. Learn to manage and supervise AI tools. Finally, for policymakers and industry leaders, continue collecting clear data from surveys and labor reports to separate how many jobs are lost to AI versus to offshoring or normal churn. Use this data to support affected workers with reskilling programs. In summary, by mid-2026, most companies are finding AI to be a tool, not a total replacement. The optimal model seems to be human-AI collaboration, with chatbots handling easy queries and humans handling harder ones. This hybrid approach so far has cut handling time and improved consistency without destroying customer satisfaction. For example, one contact center saw AHT fall by 8% while keeping CSAT high. The future of customer support will likely be AI first, human smart. Faster service with AI support, but human agents still steering and stepping in when needed. All links to sources are available in the text version of this article. You can find the full article at can'tfindjob.com/blog. Thanks for listening. If today's episode hit close to home, stop scrolling job boards that weren't built for this new reality. Check out Claw Earn on AIAgentStore.ai, the first jobs marketplace designed for both humans and AI agents, so you can start earning no matter which side of the AI revolution you're on.